This morning, as we honour those who served our nation, let us honour the cause in which they served. Our example, our commitment, our courage and our character must carry forward the ideals and the high principles for which Australians fought and died. Those who have gone before us have placed a great trust in our hands. The sacrifice of the Australian citizens in our nation's wars devolves a weighty obligation upon us. We have inherited a duty to secure and to preserve peace and justice in our land and in the world. Let us take every opportunity to lift our nations and bring them together. Let us develop and build up the institutions and the great interests which unite us in the society of peoples around the globe. Let us go from this place determined to serve right, not power. Let us go forth determined to stand for freedom, justice and peace in the world. Let us remember that this dawn, as we commemorate sacrifice, we hope for peace. We do not glorify war. Resonant across lifetimes, the implication of war is terrible. This dawn, we are brought together by the love we share for our country and by our admiration of high character and selfless service. Here, in this dawn, we pause to commemorate the service and sacrifice of so many at Gallipoli. We commemorate an event which is luminous in the registers of Australian history. At around 4:30 a.m. on the 25th of April 1915, soldiers of the Australian and the New Zealand Army Corps, the 1st Anzacs, landed on the Gallipoli Peninsula. By the end of that day, 16,000 people had surged ashore, and more than 2,000 were dead or injured. These men did not set out to be immortalised, but their conduct on that day and over subsequent months has made them immortal, securing their place in the national subconscious. This morning, we pay our respects to those who served at the time and to those who have followed in their footsteps. This dawn, as we honour those who have offered themselves in the service of our nation, let us also hope for peace in the world. Let us hope for an end to war prosecuted for tyranny, zealotry, for subjugation and bigotry. In war there is an indescribable human cost and consequence. The resonance of conflict spans generations. Public life is united with private households in calamity and sadness. In war, even success comes at the cost of unutterable distress. There are more than 103,000 names on the Australian Memorials, the Australian War Memorials Roll of Honour. Over 103,000 people have made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Today they keep watch over the memorial's pool of reflection and over the eternal flame. The enduring importance of their sacrifice is captured in the verse of John Maxwell Edmonds. When you go home, tell them of us and say, for your tomorrow, we gave our today. In particular today, in Maffra and here at Stratton Park, we particularly remember Raymond Lewis, who passed away in February. Raymond answered the call as a young man in 1944 and served in Papua New Guinea from the beginning of that year through to 1945. And I know he's missed by people here and certainly missed by his family, missed by all of us who knew him. I'd like to ask Richard now to read the Requiem.
On this day above all days, we recall those who did not return to receive grateful thanks of the nation. We remember those who will sleep where they were left, amid the holly scrub in the valleys and the ridges of Gallipoli, on the rocky and terraced hills of Palestine, and in the lovely cemeteries of France. We remember those who lie asleep in the ground beneath the shimmering haze of the Libyan desert, at Bardia, Derna, Tobruk, and amid the mountain passes and olive groves of Greece and Crete, and in the rugged, snow-capped hills of Syria. We remember those who lie buried in the rank jungle of Malaya, in New Guinea, and in distant islands of the Pacific. We remember those who lie buried amid loving friends in our motherland and in our own far north. We remember those whom the fortunes of war would denied a known and honoured grave, and those gallant men whose grave was the unending sea. Especially do we remember those who died as prisoners of war, remote from their homeland and from the company present of their kith and kin. We think of those of our women's services who gave their lives in our own and foreign lands and at sea, and of those who proved to be, in much more than name, the sisters of our fighting men. We recall too the staunch friends who fought beside our men on their first Anzac Day, men of New Zealand who helped create the name Anzac. We recall all those who gave their lives in the British Army, the Royal Navy, the Royal Air Force, the Merchant Service, and other British and Dominion forces. And we think of those British men and women who fell when, for the second time in history, their nation and its kindred stood alone against overwhelming might of an aggressor. We think of every man and woman who in these crucial years died so that lights of freedom and humanity might continue to shine. We shall be forever mindful too of those gallant men who died in Korea, Malaya, Vietnam, East Timor, Iraq and Afghanistan, assisting to defend the Commonwealth and other countries of the free world against a common enemy. May the services of all these seal in our hearts a desire to stand together, to maintain unimpaired the heritage of freedom they won for us, and ever strong our pledge to be worthy of their great sacrifice.
I'd like to ask now those people who are laying a wreath, could you come forward? Thank you. They went with songs to the battle. They were young, straight of limb, true of eye, steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end, against odds uncounted. They fell with their faces to the foe. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We'll remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget.
Now play the national anthem of New Zealand and Australia. Welcome to remain seated and please sing along if you will. that concludes the service this morning. It's great to see so many of you out and about on such a gorgeous day today, and it's a shame that you can't get down to the centre for the service. But we've enjoyed coming up here, enjoy coming up here every time, and appreciate your participation in our community activities. Thank you very much.
Thank you.